Good morning. My name is Brian Lewis, and I will be presenting the introduction into the Wisconsin Masonic Ritual written by Brother Pat Chalopa. The purpose of this presentation is to give you a little background into what Masonic Ritual is. Masonic Ritual is like an onion. It has many layers. In today's presentation, we are going to peel the outer skin off that onion, but be assured there is more to discover. Before I get into any of the details on Masonic Ritual, it is important to start with a few definitions. Ritual, a religious or solemn ceremony consisting of a series of actions performed according to a prescribed order. Masonic ritual, the scripted words and actions that are spoken or performed during the degree work in a Masonic lodge. Masonic degrees, the word degree in this context signifies a step. The degrees of Freemasonry are then the steps by which the candidate ascends from a lower to a higher condition of knowledge. Masonic symbolism is that which is used to illustrate the principles of Freemasonry, of which Freemasonry espouses. From these definitions, we can conclude that Masonic ritual is the spoken word and actions used by the fraternity to communicate the symbolism that illustrates the moral principles of Freemasonry. The term ritual was scary to me when I first joined the fraternity, as it had an almost sinister connotation. As I learned more, I realized that rituals are all around us. And here are some of the common examples of rituals we see in our day-to-day life. Marriage ceremonies, holidays, birthday celebrations, prayer or meditation, family meals, commutes to work, funerals, gift or reward ceremonies, and so on. Every culture has sought methods to pass social mores, taboos, and norms down to new members in every society, from the South Pacific to China, Africa, Europe, and have used ritual for this purpose. Ritual use is both global and universal. The only difference is in what is being taught and how. Why is ritual important to Freemasonry? The lessons taught in our ritual and how we teach them differs from other social and morally centered organizations. The ritual ensures that the principles of Freemasonry are communicated consistently from lodge to lodge. There are many requirements to establishing recognition between grand jurisdictions. One of them is the conferral of the apprentice, fellowcraft, and master mason degrees. The ritual is how we communicate the meaning of the Masonic symbolism. The ritual is how we communicate. The ritual contains the words and actions necessary to open and close our lodges, and is how we make new Masons. But there are other variations between jurisdictions. The Masonic ritual contains the foundation and soul of Freemasonry. Without the ritual, Freemasonry would be a very different. Every grand jurisdiction maintains its ritual a little differently. In Wisconsin, the ritual is maintained in two pieces, the multiple letter cipher and the pure work. The entire ritual is contained within the multiple letter cipher. The cipher contains the spoken parts and movements for all 3 degrees. The cipher is only available to Master Masons. The cipher can be purchased by Wisconsin Master Masons through the Grand Lodge of Wisconsin Square store. Your lodge secretary is available to help and answer any questions you may have with this. The spoken portion of the work is printed in the pure work. The spoken portion is completely written down, not in cipher. Its purpose is to ensure that the spoken portion of the work is accurately communicated. It is available to the grand and district lecturers, and they will allow you to view it upon request or at a school of instruction or a district meeting. It is a resource. It is not intended to be studied from. Every Mason has several responsibilities relating to the ritual, and here are some of them. There is a long-standing debate within Freemasonry: are we a secret society or a society with secrets? Without delving into that debate, let us just say that there are aspects of the ritual in particular that we keep secret. In the multiple letter cipher, the portion of the work that is written in cipher is the esoteric work. And every Mason is expected to keep them secret. If you're not sure, talk with your mentor or other brothers and they will help you. Complete all portions of the Wisconsin program posting keys that were given to you after each degree. This includes the study guide portion. Like the in-lodge examination, the study guide is required, and while it may seem tedious, it helps with learning the ritual. As discussed previously, this is available to all Master Masons and can be obtained through the Grand Lodge of Wisconsin Square store or through your lodge secretary. Once you learn how to read the cipher, you'll be able to do much of the studying on your own. You might need help in learning some of the specific words, but I think you'll be surprised at how far you can get on your own. Work with your mentor and lodge officers to learn and memorize the ritual. You'll need to pick a strategy that works for you. Pick a lecture, a charge, a part, whatever suits you, and begin studying. I have yet to meet a Mason who, without a little work, cannot memorize. Remember that with whatever part of the ritual you choose to work on, ritual in the multiple letter cipher is divided into 3 parts: a detailed explanation of the movements, the spoken portion with some of the key movements incorporated within, and the diagrams that just show the movements from a visual perspective. When learning the ritual, these 3 parts necessarily work together to communicate the ritual in its entirety. It is important to understand that there is a difference between learning and memorizing the ritual. Both are equally important. Let's talk a minute about the difference between learning and memorizing the ritual and why both are important and necessary. The first thing I want to point out is that Masonic ritual is not just for the candidate. It has other purposes besides conferring degrees. The ritual is how we communicate our principles and beliefs to a candidate. But if that is the only reason we use it, we are doing it and ourselves a disservice. It contains details about the Masonic principles as well as instructions for the individual Mason to lead a good and moral life. There is more to learn beyond the ritual, but it should serve as a starting point for every Mason. Memorization is committing the content for the rapid recall and the ability to recite things. Memorization is important when it comes to reciting, performing, and teaching the ritual, but it is important to the learning process as well. Memory is used in everything we do. There are many techniques available to increase our ability to memorize things. My recommendation is that you start with the simplest repetition and adjust your technique accordingly. When working on memorizing the ritual, it is important that you memorize the actions and movements along with the word. Learning is the act of comprehending and understanding a topic. Let me explain. There's a difference between understanding the ritual and understanding the deeper lessons in the meaning of Freemasonry. There is a line at the end of the entered apprentice degree that I believe communicates Freemasonry's expectation of the individual Mason to learn and understand the ritual perfectly. The whole is a regular system of morality, veil and allegory, which will unfold its beauty to the candid and industrious inquirer. I cannot stress it enough. Memorization of the ritual is crucial to the delivery and execution of it. But memorization alone, without seeking to comprehend what has been memorized, makes it difficult for the individual Mason to apply the lessons to the fraternity into his character. Learning and memorizing the ritual work together to enable a Mason to increase his comprehension of the ritual. I like to use the example of the Pythagorean theorem to illustrate this. We were all probably taught to memorize this mathematical function at some point. A squared plus b squared equals c squared, or c equals the square root of a squared plus b squared. However, memorizing the formula did not help us to understand how to use it. If we do not learn how to use it, memorizing it does little good. If we are not taught that c represents the hypotenuse, or that the hypotenuse is the side opposite of the 90-degree angle, and the other particulars, memorizing the formula does not enable us to put it into action. Memorizing and learning the ritual works the same way. Memorizing the ritual will enable us to perform it, but learning it enables us to apply it into shaping our character. If we only memorize the meaning of the square and its definitions, we may have overlooked how to apply it in our lives, dealing with all of mankind, to live our lives in a virtuous manner. The last few minutes, we covered the basics of the Masonic ritual, how it is assembled, how to use it, and the individual Mason's responsibility to it.